I've searched many years on end. There was none that my soul could depend. My soul cries out for your presence in here. This very hour, for your presence in here. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek. I have searched many years on end. There was none that my soul could depend. My soul cries out for your presence in here. This very hour, for your presence in here. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek. In your presence I am free from the chain that has bound me. In your presence I am calm, waiting for the kingdom come. In your presence I am free from the chain that has bound me. In your presence I am calm, waiting for the kingdom come. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the peace I seek. In His name I find, in His name I find, in His name I find the joy I seek.
Good evening, all you guys out there. We're so glad that you have tuned in for tonight. My name is Ryan Kelly. We're joined by the one and only Kurt Fletcher tonight. How you doing, Kurt?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. You guys, we're going to hear Kurt's story in just a little bit. You know, we're live from the house, and we're continuing our Red Letter series. And just so you guys know, we'll be continuing this series every Friday night at 6. So please tune in, and if you would, go ahead and like and share this live broadcast. For us, for me, we would love that. Thank you guys so much. So we're joined by Kurt. Kurt, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight that might be tuning in or watching?
Yeah. I just want to say hi to my parents. I know they're watching right now. Mom, Dad, I love you guys, and I want to give a shout out to my fiance Ashley.
There we go.
I love you, baby.
Oh, that's so sweet. When's the wedding?
June 27th.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
COVID. We'll see. No, we're so happy for you guys. You're a great guy, Kurt, and we get to hear some of your story tonight. You ready?
Yeah, definitely.
Where are you from?
I'm from Pismo Beach.
Where's that in relation to where we are?
It's about 3 hours south of San Francisco, about 4 hours north of LA, right on the Central Coast.
Okay, not too far.
Yeah,
Nice area. So you grew up in Pismo Beach?
I did, yes.
Nice. What was your childhood like?
So I grew up in, a middle-class home, nothing too fancy. I mean, I had everything that I needed, needed clothes, food. We always had that stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up in a church. It was nothing like this church. It was a church of probably about 1,000 people.
Holy
So
smokes.
it was it was huge.
Big crowd.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I didn't really learn what a real relationship with Jesus was. Like, it was
Okay.
very easy to get lost in that church
Yeah.
because it was so big. And, so my kind of definition of being a Christian was doing all the right things, going to church, going up for prayer when you needed it,
Okay, yeah.
asking Jesus into your heart. But that's really where it stopped.
So you feel like you were going through the motions, just kind of
That's
living the religious experience, but it didn't really change much on the inside or the outside?
Yeah, there wasn't that much going on the inside.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you grew up in a Christian home, pretty good kid.
Mhm.
So when did things kind of change for you?
Again, not knowing who Jesus was, there wasn't that real foundation.
Yeah.
I never had that real foundation. So at about 18, I started smoking weed and drinking,
Wow.
and I really enjoyed it. That very quickly progressed. I remember one day my friend asked me if I wanted to try these pills called Dilaudid.
Oh, boy.
And within a few weeks, I had gone to shooting pills up.
Wow.
And within a year, that went into a heroin addiction.
Wow.
And I loved the disconnect that it gave me from my emotions, because I didn't want to feel my emotions. I didn't like what was going on inside of me. I hated everything about myself. So this
Really?
disconnect that I got from that was amazing.
So it separated you from having to feel that stuff?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hate you had for yourself? Why did you hate yourself so much?
Because I just I didn't know who I was. I had no idea who I was. I had things inside of me that I didn't want to deal with. Past mistakes that I didn't want to deal with,
Sure.
and I figured I found a way to not feel that stuff.
Yeah. So your addiction helped you escape from that.
Yes. Yeah.
So what did that look like for you? What did that end up doing for you? How long were you in addiction?
I was in addiction for about 7-8 years, and I burned literally every bridge that I could. The big ones were with my parents.
Yeah.
I knew like I wasn't gonna get hurt from stealing from them. At least that was my thinking. So it's like I stole everything I could from them.
Wow.
I manipulated them in any way possible,
Man.
and I used them as much as I could. It didn't matter to me how much it hurt them. It was like it was selfish. It was about me
Yeah.
getting through the day
Yeah.
and being happy with myself.
And so did you kind of live for the next day, for the next fix, for the next
Oh, yeah.
moment?
Yeah, it was all about me. It was all selfish.
So I know you had a moment, a scary moment actually,
Mhm.
in your life where you almost didn't make it.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was late one night. I was using meth at the time, and I remember shooting up and pulling. I ended up getting a needle caught in my arm. I was shooting up, and the metal part came out,
Wow.
and it went into my arm. And I remember waking my mom up. We went to the hospital. They ended up trying to get it out. They weren't able to,
Wow.
and it ended up slipping into my vein. It went through my heart. I remember them rushing me to another hospital, and I remember them saying, "Hey, you're probably not going to make it through tonight, so you
Jeez.
should probably go tell your parents goodbye." but you're not going to make it. And I didn't know what to do with myself at that point.
Yeah, what was going through your mind? You're told those words. Hey, you're probably not going to make it through the night. Like, what are your last thoughts in that moment?
Oh, I was terrified. I was like, well, I really did it this time.
Wow.
You know, this I wasn't able to get out of it, and I'm going to die right now.
Wow.
I was terrified.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So obviously you woke up the next morning,
Yeah.
still very much alive.
Yeah, they ended up, they checked on me every 30 minutes or so during the night to see if I was going to live. And the needle actually passed through my heart and ended up in my lung.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were able to go in through a vein and fish it out of my lung.
So they were able to do what they needed to do to get it out. And,
Yeah. And no one was really sure how it happened. You know, I had nurses and doctors coming up to me saying, we don't know how this happened. You're a walking miracle right now.
Absolutely.
You better remember this.
That's a big moment in your life. So, you know, when did things start? Was that kind of a wake-up call for you? When did things start to change for you? I know you came to Oroville. How long after that for our recovery program?
Oh, it was probably a good 4 years after that. You
Okay,
know?
so that didn't change things overnight for you.
No, it didn't. Not
Eventually
at
went back to the same old.
all. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to you coming to Oroville. What led you here? What was the the moment that made you want to seek help?
So, you know, my mom had started pushing me towards going to the Father's house. I tried a couple different programs. They didn't work, and, you know, I was sick of being unhappy. You know, it didn't matter how many drugs I put into my system.
Wow.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was still miserable.
Wow.
I still hated myself, and I couldn't figure out why. And so something just said, well, why don't you try this program? Why don't you try the Christian program?
Yeah.
Everything in me did not want to go there. But
You're here. So
Yes.
So what changed for you, Kurt? You came here. You submitted to the process.
Mhm.
You gave yourself over to it. You started a real relationship with Jesus. But what was the turning point for you? What started to change things and shift things for you to where you are today?
Well, I just saw that, you know, I watched the leaders around here. I remember saying to myself, I'm going to watch the leaders around here. I'm going to catch them slipping. I'm going to catch them being fake. And, you know, it's going to be a reason for me to leave.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I watched them. And all I saw was good
a
fruit.
hawk.
You know, I didn't see them being fake. I heard what they said, and they lived that out.
Yeah.
And I wanted that. You know?
You wanted what they had in their life.
Yeah, I did.
That was important for you.
It was very important.
See that they were real with what they said. They were actually living it in front of you.
Yes.
So that helped you, to start to develop a real Christianity for your own?
Yeah,
Your
you
own
know,
self?
it showed me that they were safe to follow.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want relationships with people at all.
Okay.
I didn't want that. Or at least I didn't think I wanted that. And deep down I did.
Yeah.
And so
Definitely.
that helped me to start being able to follow somebody and, you know, start actually living out the life that I wanted to. Start to see that I could be better than that heroin addict on the street.
Yeah.
You know, I could be somebody different than that. I could.
Yeah.
There were things inside of me that I didn't think were inside of me.
Wow, that's good, Kurt.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not that anymore. Like, you're miles from that. Like,
Yeah.
if you could just share with me, share with them, who is Kurt Fletcher today?
Oh, Kurt Fletcher is somebody who has changed. Kurt Fletcher is somebody who other people actually want to be around, that I am worth being around.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trusted with a department around here. I'm trusted with a woman's life around here. I'm safe. I'm someone who can be safe and who can lead other men.
That's right. And you love Jesus.
I do, very
That
much.
changed so much for
Yeah.
you. And, you know, you're just such an example of what God can do when you say yes, when you love Him, when you give your life to Him, what happens with your life. It's a beautiful testimony and example to so many people. And thank you so much for sharing
Yeah, you're welcome.
your story with us, Kurt. I know there's more than that, but thank you for sharing what you did share. So appreciate it. I hope you guys are listening. Hope you enjoyed that as well. You guys, Kurt Fletcher, and coming up next, we have a panel, and we'll be talking all about giving your life away. And if you haven't, go ahead and like and share this broadcast, and we'll see you guys soon.
We just got done recording another episode of the podcast, The Uncommon Truth.
It's a weekly podcast where we talk about Christianity the way Jesus intended it to be.
Here's a clip of one of our shows.
So church is really supposed to be a place where we come to give our life away. It isn't to receive, but receiving is the promise of God. So the giving comes from God. The church is the place where you give, and God gives the return, and it's abundant.
It's really good what he said. And for me, it's like, I think most people think that church is about them.
Yeah.
And I think even Francis Chan, his thing was, why would I, it's like I'm going to a church, and this guy is going to bless me for 30 minutes, and it's going to be all about me. It's one guy blessing 500 people, 200 people, and it's a wrong idea. It's not one guy blessing 500 people. It's one guy speaking from the Lord, telling you who you are. Now go do it. It should be every person's. And I agree with Steve. It's like you have the wrong impression of what Christianity. It's not about you. It's about Jesus. It's about going and giving your life away. But so often we just go to church on Sunday and it's all about feeling good, bless me, what do I get? But it's that, and then it's give it away.
If you'd like to subscribe, visit changeorville.org and click on podcasts. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you can get podcasts. So go ahead and subscribe, leave us a rating or a review so more people can find our show.
You'll actually hear practical examples and testimonies of how to follow Jesus in day-to-day life.
It literally will change your life. Check it out.
Are you looking for something real? An encounter with Jesus that changes everything? A place to belong and find purpose? Are you ready to become who Jesus created you to be? Father's House School of Transformation is a 6-month ministry school in Orville, California. Our mission is to help you to answer the call of Jesus on your life, to follow him, to know him, to become a true son or daughter, and to learn how to love as he has loved you. Through life-changing teachings, powerful times of worship, one-on-one mentoring, and hands-on training and outreach to the community, you will encounter the living presence of Jesus and be transformed. Do not miss this opportunity to go deeper with Jesus and discover who you will become. Apply today.
I'm nervous.
All right. Well, guys, welcome back. Johnny's nervous. You just heard him. But we are live, continuing the Red Letter series. I hope you enjoyed Kurt's story. We got to get comfortable now. We're caught off guard. Good to see you guys. How we doing, gentlemen? We've
Always
got
need to be on guard.
Yost, and I can't properly pronounce your last name. We've been friends for years, and I still can't say your last name right. So go ahead and say it for
It's
everybody.
okay. Joost van Huizen.
Yost van Housa. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was
And we
pretty good.
have
Johnny Bowers.
Johnny Bowers, two of my great friends here at the Father's House, and we get to talk tonight about give your life away. And it's such an important value, I know, in my life and a lot of our lives, that something we've, had the luxury of hearing and being taught over and over. But, I want to start, because this series is all about the red letters, right?
Yeah.
So I want to start with a verse in the Gospel of Matthew, just from Jesus himself, all right? So here we go. It's Matthew 16, verse 24, and he says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it.'" And I know these are verses, and this account's also in Mark and Luke, and throughout the Gospels and a lot of the New Testament writings, we see this, this truth about our call to be like Jesus. Mm-hmm. He gave his life, right? The Father sent Jesus to give his life for us, and now we in turn are expected to do the same, right?
Yeah.
We're expected to imitate him, to give our life. So let's explore this a little bit tonight, because I know when I first heard this idea, I didn't fully understand what that meant. Did you guys know what that meant when you first heard it?
No. not
Give
at
your
all.
life away?
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
So when that's something you hear, you're supposed to give your life away. Let's start with you, Johnny, because you're
Yeah.
right next to me. You know, what stands out to you from that question? What does that mean to you?
I think just where I came from was a very, very selfish way of living. It was all about what I can get and what I can get to make me feel better, look better, rise above. And when you hear something like that, it kind of just makes you stop and say, I got it all wrong. You know,
Yeah.
Jesus gave his life for me, and that didn't really sync with me until I had a revelation of what he actually did on the cross, and that applied to my life. I had a connection with what was done on the cross, and
Yeah.
realized that he literally gave his life for me. And from that, I can't help but give my life away. And when you think of the term give your life away, it's like,
Yeah.
well, what does that look like? And that could look like anything. That could look like doing outreach. That could look like serving in the church, or helping a friend move, or loving your wife properly.
Right, yeah.
And it's all about you giving your resources, your time, your energy, your love away, and understanding that I'm not losing anything. I'm giving things away,
Yeah.
and selflessly, and the return, just like your scripture said, it's like I get the return is so good. The love that I
good,
receive
Johnny.
from giving my life away, I am filled with the love of God from that.
Yeah. Like there's a verse in John 15, and it says, greater love is none than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not just in the Bible. Like when we look in the world, people have been giving their lives for each other. Specifically, you look in wars, and you know, you see these great movies on legends, right? Men giving their lives for one another, right? And understanding that there's a cost,
Yeah.
right, to life. That there's a cost, that there's almost an expectation in moments that you're supposed to give your life,
Yes.
and how it's actually an honor to do that, right? But we come into Christianity with this idea that there isn't a cost. You're not supposed to give your life, you know? So, Yost, when you first heard this idea, this truth that Jesus expects you to give your life for him, what did that mean? What did that mean to you? What stood out to you about that?
Yeah, like for me, I was brought up in as a Christian, but like that concept I didn't really understand. When it comes down to the fact what you just said, like a cost has to be paid, you know, like is my life worth Jesus dying for? That part, you know, I never really thought about that. So like when I had times in my life where my Christianity was just really passive, to the point where I was waiting a lot on God. I was waiting a lot on when can he bless me, when can he do all kinds of stuff. But it didn't pour out into me doing things, me just really giving my life for others, you know? And so I came here, and all of a sudden we had Steve share the whole thing of like, I'm owed, like he doesn't owe me anything,
Yeah.
and I'm owed everything. And it just changed my life. I just realized that the price that he paid for me just really is a thing where I have to just come with a response.
Yeah.
Cost demands a response.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
good.
really good,
Yost.
Yost.
Cost demands a response. You know, when we become Christians, you know, there's like this idea that, you know, I'm accepting you, Jesus, into my life, and now my life here is supposed to be blessed. What I do is supposed to be blessed. Doesn't matter what I do, what I say, what I live. I've received you, Jesus, but like, what kind of Christianity is that,
Yeah.
right? So, like you said, love demands a response, right?
Yeah.
And so we come into Christianity, and really we should approach Christianity as my life is no longer my own.
That's right.
That when we read the red letters, when we read the Gospels, and we get to know this Jesus who gave his life willingly, right? He said, no one takes it from me.
Yeah.
I'm giving it. I'm laying it down. Like, that's his choice. Like, he freely gave and expected nothing in return.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? He just gave himself fully, and now we're called to imitate that kind of life and that kind of love.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind, But we come into Christianity now. It's this idea, this truth of whose are we? Who do we belong to? Like, that should change everything, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what does it practically look like for you, Johnny? You hit on some
Yeah.
bits earlier, but let's just spend some more time on that. Like, for people that are wondering, like, how am I supposed to give my life away? What does that look like? What does that mean? What's expected of me?
Yeah.
Is this just all about, does my life matter anymore? Is my life now all of a sudden less important? I can never have anything good in my life. I can never take time for me anymore. Is it all about me just serving every day of my life now? Or, what is that? Let's explore that a little bit. What do you have to say?
Well, first of all, I just got to say that it's in Mark 10:45. It says that Jesus didn't come to be served, but he came to serve others. And so it's like, if I'm supposed to imitate Jesus, then my life should be about everybody.
Yeah.
It should be about serving my wife, serving my kids, serving the community around me, my church family, the homeless person on the corner. And practically, something that I shared when we were doing the Loving Jesus series, we do this ministry called Adopt a Block, and we gather around on Mondays, and we just fill up drink carts full of food, and we just walk around. And it seems so simple. It's like bread on a cart, and knock on someone's door and say, "Hi, my name's Johnny. Would you like some bread today?" And it's like, that's a practical way of me giving something so simple and so small to somebody that you would think that bread has like no meaning, you would not believe the looks on people's faces or the tears that came from that, and people just saying like, "How did you know that I needed that?"
Wow.
And it's like, if that's all I ever heard, and for the rest of my life, like, that would be the most fulfilling thing, because I was the hands and feet of Jesus in that moment for another person. And when you understand that beautiful concept, your kind of life it's just like, I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Wow.
I didn't give up I didn't give up my dreams. It's like I got rid of that stuff. Not that dreams aren't important. Don't hear me saying that. Dreams are important, and goals are important, and going after things are important. But the most important thing is laying your life down for those in front of you. Seeing the one and making them the most important person. Letting them see a true, authentic Jesus and a true, authentic Christian that is wholeheartedly invested in that moment just for them.
Come on, Johnny.
So
Man,
good.
look at this guy. Kidding me?
gosh.
He's going for it, man. That's so good. You're so right on. That just reminds me of, I think it's Philippians, where Jesus, even being God, set that divinity aside and humbled himself to become a servant, right?
Yeah,
even to the point of death and dying on a cross, right? Like, what an example. We always go back to that. He's the perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect example in every area of life.
Yeah.
Of how to know the Father, of how to actually love people. And like you said, giving bread, something so simple but so significant at the same time.
Yeah.
Because God cares about the world. He cares about people, right?
Exactly.
Man, and Yost, you're no stranger to giving your life away. I mean, everybody watching really should be extremely thankful for you
Give
right
it up
now,
to this
because
guy.
how many days have you poured in a row just giving your life away to make these live streams happen? We just got to applaud you for a second. I know this is something that you do live out on a daily basis. I know you shared a little bit earlier that wasn't something that was always the case in your life, but what does that mean for you today? What does that mean in your life to be someone giving your life away? Why is that important to you?
Well, the first times I came here, I can remember these moments where we were doing stuff like Johnny was saying, giving food away to people and all kinds of stuff. And it was 3 weeks. And I thought at the end of the 3 weeks, oh my gosh, how can I ever do this for just a year, right? Like, but I didn't understand the concept of like giving your life away and what that means. And that in doing so, you get life, right? And so for me, now, I've been here like almost over 5 years, and it's totally different. I got so many things, and now like you said, I've been doing these live streams, and most of them are like days in, days out of editing, of filming it, and it's what it is for me. Like I see in the Bible, like constantly Paul just writing about like letting how our body is a temple, holy, and like how we give with our body, like it's like worship to Him, to just give with our body, do stuff with our body to really give Him honor and praise and love with our actions. And so when I do all these things now with the live stream, I notice like that I'm not just doing it for the fact of like, like serving, but also that I know that people are being like impacted by this.
Yeah.
That there will be like parties in heaven for people that are being impacted by these live streams.
That's so good.
That are being impacted by the words of Jesus that all of a sudden just pierce through, you know, and all of a sudden it's like, now I understand. And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this. I want to just, being behind the screens, still, I just give because I know that this will be an impact.
That's so cool.
And at the same time, just loving Jesus with it.
That's right on. And that's so good what you said and what you're saying, Johnny Yost. That's just so incredible. You guys are right on. And this is, giving your life away isn't something that is just expected for those in leadership.
No.
Those in pastoral position or worship leaders or whatever, right? If you're a Christian and you've confessed a belief in Jesus and an intention to pursue Him and to go after Him, He actually requires that you pick up your cross, follow Him, deny yourself, give your life away, right? Exactly. And it's not about the works themselves, right? We heard Steve speak recently about this, and that works is the sign of faith, right? Without faith, it's impossible to please God. But your works demonstrate your faith and what you believe, and it all is connected and intertwined into a life of a fruitful Christianity, right? And so, if we say that we want a real Christianity, we want a working Christianity in our lives, then we can't escape this topic.
Right.
Exactly.
We can't get away from give your life away. But what would you say, Johnny, to people that when they hear this, they think, oh, it's all about works. You're all about now you're making it all about what you do. And, what would you have to say to that kind of mentality that's out there?
I would just say that you just need to know that you're loved. That when Jesus was baptized and the Holy Spirit came upon Him, He had done no ministry before then. He had done hardly anything. And the Father said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased."
Yeah.
It's like, and Jesus went forth and started His ministry, and He came from a place of sonship. He came from a place of being accepted and loved, and not because He did anything. He didn't have to earn anything. He didn't have to work for anything.
Yeah.
But I can't help but know that I've been loved, and I get to go do these things.
Yeah.
It's coming from the right perspective and the right heart motives of knowing you've been given something amazing.
Yeah.
You've been given something incredible. Yeah. And I can't help but show my love to the world around me that of what Jesus gave to me. It's like if my wife, when we got married, she gave her life to me. And if I only said I love you one time, she'd have a very hard time believing that I loved her. I show her every day with my actions and my words and my affection that I love her. I make a safe place for her, and I give my life to her wholeheartedly. So what I would say to you guys out there, that you need to have a revelation of his love, that he loves you. He loves you, and you get to go do cool things for the God that created the universe.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing, and that's what motivates me, knowing that I'm loved and just going and giving that away.
Yeah. That we love because he first loved us.
Yeah.
That collision with the cross changes everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? That our love is actually supposed to look like something.
Yeah.
What would you say to that, yo? It's just love expected to look like something.
Well, like, I think like really looking at what did Jesus really do for us, looking at the cross, looking at like his sacrifice,
Yeah.
and how deep, how tough, how hard that was, and that he did that with us on his mind.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
and that changed a lot for me. Really understanding that deep, and it continues to just grow deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Understanding what he did.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it, that Jesus would do that for us.
Yeah.
Like if we stop to really think about that, like Jesus actually died for me.
Yeah.
You know? There's
Yeah.
nothing I did. I didn't deserve that.
Oh no.
I didn't earn that.
No.
In fact, we probably deserve the opposite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, a life of separation, but in his goodness and his faithfulness and his mercy, he gives us that opportunity to know him, to experience his love for us through the cross, through him laying down our life. And now, what an amazing thing that we now get to give our lives to him
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
in service of the King.
Mm-hmm.
To
Such a
honor
privilege.
Jesus with our lives. I mean, for us to look back on our lives and who we used to be, to think that we get to live a life where we get to honor Jesus
Oh man.
Yeah.
through what we do, what we say, our thoughts. I mean, across the board, right? We get to live a life that brings honor to Jesus. And you guys get to live a life that brings honor to Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not just the three amigos up here that get to give our life away. This is something that we're all expected, that we're all called to do. And tonight we wanted to share some of this with you guys in this journey. And, we're still on this journey.
Yeah.
We're still learning what this means and what this looks like every day.
Yeah.
A life of pursuing Jesus and saying yes to him. And want to encourage you guys just listening and watching out there that I hope you are encouraged. I hope that you feel inspired to continue to honor Jesus with your life, to continue to honor Jesus with your love. And may that love look like something in your life. May you continue to run after him and pursue him. This is the Red Letter series. We'll be back next Friday at 6 p.m. Thank you so much, Yos and Johnny. Please tune in for our live stream church service on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching.